Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Rise Talkshow. I'm your host, Suthan. Today, we are diving into a case that has sparked massive national outrage: the transfer of 3 Malaysian elephants, Dara, Amoi, and Kelat, to a concrete enclosure at Tennoji Zoo in Osaka, Japan, under a murky 25-year lease. While authorities claim it's a non-profit zoo exchange for breeding science, wildlife activists and whistleblowers are crying foul, alleging a major lack of transparency, sloppy paperwork, and massive financial cover-up. Joining me today to untangle the legal mess and push for accountability is a prominent human rights and wildlife lawyer, as well as President to Pertubuhan Pelindung Khazanah Alam Malaysia, PEKA, Rajesh Nagarajan. Welcome, Mr. Rajesh. Thank you for coming and sitting down with me today.
Hi, Suthan. Thank you so much for having me.
Alright, so today you were in Bukit Aman for this memorandum of DUC. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, the reason that we went to submit a memorandum to the police is because police reports have been lodged in relation to this transfer of 3 elephants to Japan, and we have been informed that the police who are investigating this matter are the police officers in Taiping itself.
Okay.
Now, this is completely untenable for the simple reason that this involves high figures, involves pengaras of government officers, involves an ex-minister, involves a current minister. You know, it is hardly fathomable for a lowly inspector to investigate such persons of high stature, which is why we have made an application, a request, a demand to Bukit Aman to form a special task force to investigate this matter, because this matter is of the utmost importance and seriousness.
Okay, but you call this transfer illegal. I still don't understand why is this called illegal, because if the government signed all the permits, then what actual law is broken here?
Just because the government does something, that does not automatically legalize it. History is rife with governments passing laws, doing things that are illegal. That is why we have a remedy called judicial review to review whatever that the government does. So if the government does something wrong, they must be held accountable. So just because the government passed and allowed these 3 elephants to be sent to Japan, that does not make it legal.
Okay, but I saw in the news that you are speaking about paper trails and of course jurisdictional mismatch between 2 different states. But that doesn't automatically mean a crime was committed. You know that as a lawyer. It can just be a government administration issues. Pelindung holds the ultimate federal sovereignty over this wildlife. So can't they override state borders and obviously sign whatever they want?
They can't override state borders for the simple fact that they have to follow the law. And the law states that you cannot export an animal, a wild animal, that is under the category of W. W means it's a wild animal that was born in the wild and it was caught in the wild. Okay. Now, if it is a wild animal that was born in the wild and caught in the wild, you only have 2 options. One is you leave it, release it to the wild, or alternatively, you can keep it at a sanctuary. Now, for elephants, you can keep it at the Kuala Ganda sanctuary. But you can't keep it in a zoo because it's not a captive-born animal. Okay. Now, if you want to keep an elephant in the zoo, it has to be a captive-born elephant. Then that's fine. So here we have documentation which was provided to me by my whistleblower. Now, this whistleblower, the documentation that he gave includes the airway bill, includes a lot of other documents. Now, these documents prove conclusively that the 3 elephants that were transferred to Tennoji Zoo in Japan are all categorized under W, which means that these are wild animals. Okay. If these are wild animals, then the transfer of them to Japan is already illegal.
Okay.
So how can Perhilitan be involved in an illegal act? How can the minister allow an illegal act to happen? This has to be stopped immediately.
Can I say you're arguing that this is a criminal wildlife trafficking?
I wouldn't go so far as to use the word trafficking, but I would say that this is a wrong that has been committed by the government and it has to be rectified immediately. Now that it's been brought to their notice, not rectifying it is unacceptable.
Won't you see that this can be a simple case of a bureaucracy issue, where the left hand, probably a government servant in Perak, not knowing what a person in Pahang is doing?
It's funny you should talk about Perak and Pahang, because the thing is, I have been informed by my whistleblowers that these elephants these 3 elephants were always from Kuala Ganda Sanctuary,
Okay.
that they are not from Taiping Zoo. And no evidence has been proffered to show that they are from Taiping Zoo. And from Kuala Ganda, they were sent to KLIA, and from KLIA, they were sent to Tennoji Zoo.
Okay.
And proof that this is the correct narrative is the fact that for these 3 elephants to be transferred out of the country, the presiding veterinary officer is the state medical officer of Pahang who signed off. It is not the state medical officer of Perak who signed off.
Okay.
Now, this means that at that material point of time, these 3 elephants were in Pahang. Now, goodness gracious, what were they doing in Pahang? They're supposed to be in Taiping Zoo. Now, doesn't this show that these 3 elephants are actually from Kuala Ganda? Now, this itself, we know there's some hanky-panky going on.
Okay.
And we need to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Now, why we are so concerned, why we must get to the bottom of this is for the simple fact that these 3 elephants are now suffering in Japan.
Okay. First of all, how do they get into Japan? Who paid for their flight and basically flight to basically from KLIA to Japan? Have you guys figured that out?
We have been provided, our whistleblower again, very helpful fellow, he has provided us with documentation which shows that the freight cost for the elephants to be transferred is RM 368,000 ringgit.
Okay.
Now the question is, who paid this money?
Okay.
Did Perkhidmatan pay?
Okay.
Did our ministry pay?
Okay.
Did the government of Malaysia pay? Or did Japan pay? We
Okay.
don't know. Now
Okay.
the question is, why do we not know? Why is this entire thing shrouded in secrecy and confidentiality? Why is this? We are talking about elephants, we are talking about animals that have been taken away and sent. Why is there no transparency?
Okay.
This is unacceptable. The fact that there is no transparency shows that someone is hiding something.
Okay. All right. Anonymous air way bill, right, does not mean that a crime has been done, isn't it? It can just be a charity. It can be. It can just be somebody picking up the cost. How does that matter?
It matters because we cannot use the taxpayers' money to transport our national treasure out of our country. In fact, transporting them out itself is wrong. And on top of that, getting us to pay is even more wrong. You cannot impose that kind of a burden on the taxpayer. It's completely unacceptable. We demand transparency. We want to know how this happened. How is it that our elephants have been transported out?
I think you're treating this entire cargo bill like a smoking gun that a crime has been committed. Whereas you don't have anything at this point right now in terms of evidence.
In terms of evidence, I would say that the airway bill is a smoking bill. It's a smoking gun. Sorry, it's a smoking gun for the simple fact that
A cargo bill is not a bribe. You cannot say that it's a bribe, isn't it? Right? What proof is that? It's a receipt of payment. So what?
Okay,
Anybody can pay a cargo bill.
One of the information in the cargo bill is the fact that these elephants are categorized under W. They're wild animals.
Okay.
And not only that, the
Okay.
category under CITES and our Endangered Species Act, they are categorized under Group 1.
Okay.
Now, Category 1 means these are animals that are completely endangered.
Okay.
Now, if these are animals that are completely endangered, why are you sending them out of the country? Now, you have Category 1, Category 2 and Category 3.
Okay.
With Category 1 being the most endangered, Category 2 not so endangered, and Category 3 not endangered.
Okay.
So if you are transferring an animal from Category 3, there's no major issue. You
Okay.
can, as long as the administrative process is completed, then fine, you send them out.
Okay.
But for an animal that is in Category 1, you have
Okay.
no business sending them out of the country. They are endangered species. So the fact that you're sending out elephants that are in Category 1 and characterized as W shows that you cannot transport them out. So now how do we have this information? This is not information that the Malaysian public are privy to, because the government did not inform us. The reason that we are privy to this information is because of the documents that we received from the whistleblower, i.e. the airway bill. The airway bill, surprisingly, is chock full of information.
Okay. All right. But here's the thing. The matter here is basically a zoo is sending these animals to another zoo purely to breed them, and also as part of conservation as well. What is wrong with that? That's actually a legitimate reason, isn't it? We need to basically conserve these animals, and allowing Japan to take care of them shows that we are propagating and helping them to basically keep these animals alive. What's wrong?
Okay, let me break that question down into two parts, because first of all, you said it's zoo to zoo.
Yeah.
Okay, let me address that issue, then I will move on to the breeding and conservation issue.
Okay.
Now, the zoo to zoo narrative, story has been put forth by the Majlis Perbandaran Taiping, the Taiping Zoo, and also that Adon from Taiping, Sandria Ng, if I'm not mistaken, her name. Now, these are the people who are saying it's zoo to zoo.
Okay.
But on the other, that is the state government, yeah?
Okay.
Whereas on the federal government side, we have our NRES Minister Arthur Kurup. Arthur Kurup is saying that this is a business-to-business deal.
Okay.
Now, we have a state body saying it's a government-to-government deal.
Okay.
We have the federal minister who says it's a business-to-business deal. So someone has to be telling the truth and someone has to be lying. Who is lying?
It can just be a case of using the wrong terminology, isn't it?
I doubt
But at the
it.
end of the day, it's a simple act of basically trying to conserve these animals and bringing them to the best facility ever, which is from KL, Malaysia to Japan, where we know they have better technologies, better facilities, and better experts.
That is a secondary issue. The issue is this a zoo to zoo deal or is this a business to business deal? And that is something that we have not received any clarification on, despite this being a hot social topic right now,
Okay.
for the simple fact that this entire deal is shrouded in secrecy. Why are we not getting answers? So we demand answers, we need answers. We cannot delve into possibilities. We want positive, concrete answers, which is why we want a special task force to be formed by Bukit Aman to get to the bottom of this.
Okay. What has the ministers or the ministry said about all this?
The minister merely said that this is a business-to-business deal.
Okay.
This is a deal between Taiping Zoo and Tennoji Zoo, and
Okay.
that he will endeavour to bring the elephants back.
Okay.
Now, endeavour is not good enough.
Why?
We want them back. Don't endeavour to bring them back. Bring them back.
But why? From what we have seen, even Tennoji Zoo has been claiming that these elephants are healthy, they are actually gaining weight. These animals are physically fine. So with that said, we can see that they have proper enclosures, they have proper experts there. How do you argue that you are just probably not happy these animals are getting better treatment over than Japan?
Okay.
You have any other agendas as well?
No, I don't have any agendas. I'm merely an animal rights activist who's fighting for the benefit of the animals. I have no axe to grind, and definitely I'm not going to get any benefit from this. Now, moving forward, there are a couple of issues, the questions that you've raised, which I have not addressed. So let me address them. Let's talk about the breeding and conservation that you spoke about just now.
Okay.
Now, conservation of animals in Malaysia. Seriously, we have so many elephants in Malaysia, not enough forest,
Okay.
that we have elephants roaming in towns in Malaysia.
Okay.
An example is what I read last year in the paper. There were elephants walking on the tar road in Kluang last year.
Yeah.
Now, that is because we don't have enough forests.
Okay.
And we have a lot of elephants in Malaysia. So why do we need to breed more? Even the elephants that we have don't have enough jungle.
Okay.
And even if we wanted to breed them for some inexplicable reason,
Okay.
why do you need to send them to Japan? Japan is not a tropical country like ours.
Okay.
Elephants are not native there.
Okay.
There are no experts there. In
Okay.
fact, because they have no experts there, we have had to send 3 mahouts to Japan to take care of the elephants. Japan is hopeless when it comes to taking care of elephants. So that is why we are taking care of the elephants despite the fact that they are in Japan. Now, these are the same mahouts who were taking care of these 3 elephants when they were in Kuala Ganda.
Okay.
So shouldn't they be in Kuala Ganda now? At least they'll be having a happy life. Now, hang on, I know you want to ask questions, but
Yeah.
just a minute.
Okay.
Now, the next issue, the breeding, as I said, breeding is a no-go. Now, the thing is, the next issue that you said is that they are healthy.
Yeah.
Now, I dispute that. They are not healthy. And you said that they're gaining weight.
They actually went up by 400 kgs, isn't it?
I dispute that as well. Their weight gain is also disputed.
Okay.
I'm disputing both of that for
Okay.
the simple fact that I have a medical
They have
report.
data there, they have papers there
I
to
don't
prove that
believe
there's
them at
400
all.
kgs extras now.
I don't believe whatever the Tennoji Zoo says, because I want independent verification of whatever that they are saying.
Okay.
They have an axe to grind. They are under pressure.
Okay.
They are fabricating information to give it to us, because it's clear that the animals are under distress.
Okay.
They are under so much of distress that one of the elephants has... I need to explain this.
Okay.
The elephant actually just stands and he will have a faraway look in his eye,
Okay.
and the elephant will start swaying his head left to right.
Okay.
And he will do this for hours and hours and hours. You see him in the morning, he'll be swaying his head.
Okay.
You come back in the afternoon, he's still swaying his head. Now, this is a medical condition. It's called zoochosis.
Oh, okay.
And our elephants there are already suffering from that. Now, how do I know this? This is because we have 2 medical reports from Professor William Keith Lindsay, who is an elephant expert, and he has given us a preliminary report. And recently, last week, he gave us a complete report on the status of the health of these 3 elephants. And the prognosis is extremely bad.
Okay.
All 3 of them are suffering. In fact, one of the elephants is suffering so badly that what he is doing is that because he's under so much of stress that he takes his tusk and he's grinding it against the wall.
Okay.
Because he's so frustrated. Because you must remember that these are elephants that were in a sanctuary where they were walking in the forest. They had fresh food to eat. They will jump into the river for a bath.
Okay.
And there were so many elephants there. Remember, elephants are social animals.
Okay.
And they were basically happy. And now what they have, they're in a concrete jungle where the floor below them is nothing but concrete and sand. Sand, seriously? What are they? Camels? Why do you need sand? Rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, so this is the problem that they're facing, and now they're having zoocosis. Now coming back to the elephant that was grinding his tusk against the metal fencing.
Okay.
He kept on grinding his tusk against the metal fencing to the point that the tusk almost broke off.
Oh, okay.
So what did they have to do? They had to cut off the tusk.
Okay.
Then they said, oh, because one tusk has been cut off, it is imbalanced, so we have to cut off the other tusk.
Oh.
This is rubbish of the highest order.
Okay.
There is some hanky-panky going on. So now where are these two tusks? Now remember, tusks are extremely valuable. They're very expensive.
Okay.
You can make very expensive ivory products from tusks worth
Okay.
a few $100,000 easily. And both these tusks have not been returned to Malaysia.
Okay.
Where are the tusks? What is going on? That means our hang on, Suthan.
Yeah.
That means the elephants are suffering to the extent that not only do they have zoocosis, to the extent that they are grinding their tusks until the tusks are breaking off. And they have the temerity to come and say, oh, the elephants are fine, they're healthy, they're gaining weight. I do not believe a single word they're saying. Look at the videos that we are receiving from Tennoji Zoo.
Okay.
They are under stress. They have been separated, physically separated. Social animals that have been physically separated. Why would you separate social animals?
Okay.
You can't do that. This shows that Tennoji Zoo has no clue as to what they are doing. The animals are under considerable amount of stress.
Okay. You spoke about broken tusk, but broken tusk can just be an accidental injury, or it can just be broken during handling. We know they have experts there, and if, for example, this experts comes in, this vets comes in, and they present a clean bill of psychological health of these animals, then will you then say that all this while your arguments and all this plays that you've been doing is just purely an emotional game, and you're just simply trying to cause trouble here?
Okay, I'm not trying to cause trouble. Okay, we are trying to get to the bottom of things. Okay, there are 2 issues that you've raised. Sorry, 3 issues. I'll address all 3 issues. The first, the tusk. Now, we have documented proof that the tusk was broken due to the grinding. Now, how do we know this? Why do we have documented proof? Because we must bear in mind that there are Malaysians living in Osaka.
Okay.
And these Malaysians are very upset about seeing these animals in such distress. So, almost every day, not almost, every single day, there are Malaysians going to the zoo, paying the admission fee, going inside and sitting there and taking videos of the 3 elephants. And we can actually see how much of distress these 3 elephants are in. So we actually have video footage of how these elephants were suffering, how that particular elephant was suffering, which resulted in him grating his tusk against the grating, the metal grating, and to the extent that the tusk had broken off. Now, that is due to videos, so we have documentary proof.
Okay.
Next, you mentioned that there are experts. I would like to contradict you there. They don't have experts. There are no elephant experts in Tennoji Zoo because elephants are not native to Tennoji Zoo and they don't have experts there. We have experts in Malaysia. Malaysia, we have lots of elephants. We have lots of experts.
Okay.
This is where the elephant should be.
Okay.
And this is borne out by the report by Professor William Keith Lindsay.
Okay.
Now, Professor William Keith Lindsay has provided 2 reports. The
Okay.
first being an initial report and the second being a full report. And in his reports, he has stated categorically that the elephants are in distress, they are not getting proper nutrition, and that they have zoocosis. Now, before Suthan, you go ahead the next question, let me just address the issue of nutrition. Now, elephants, as we know, wild animals, they eat large amounts of food, and in the wild, they do something called grazing. They walk around the whole day eating, because these are herbivores. They eat large amounts of food and they graze the entire day. That is their pattern of feeding. Right now, in Tennoji Zoo, what they're given is, at twice a day, they are given dry grass. And the grass is completely dry. It's completely unappetizing. So the elephants, being the intelligent animals that they are, they actually take the dry grass, they take it to the water pond, they dip it inside that to make it wet, then they eat it. That is the fate of our 3 elephants. It is a terrible, terrible fate indeed. And for you to actually come there and tell me that they've gained weight, I find that so hard to believe, completely unbelievable. It is clear that they are being abused, they are under distress, and I will not believe a single word that Tennoji says unless every single thing that they say is verified by an independent specialist such as Professor William Keith Lindsay or someone else. Until then, whatever Tennoji Zoo says cannot be believed, for the simple fact that they have an axe to grind. They are under considerable pressure, not only from the activists in Malaysia, but also the activists in Japan itself. So to make sure that they look good, they will make statements like this, oh, they put on weight and all that. But we can see that they are living in a concrete jungle, that they are standing on sand, that they are surrounded by a metropolis. There are cars, there are LRTs, there are trains, there are buildings. That entire place, there is a certain din to that area. There is no silence. This is not the jungle where they are used to, where there will be complete and utter silence. That is the kind of atmosphere that they grew up in. And now they are right in the middle of a bustling city, being subjected to all kinds of noise. They are being tortured.
Okay, here's the thing. Facilities can always be improved. And it looks like Japan are willing to invest to basically keep these animals safer. If we bring them back, these animals will go back to Kuala Ganda, which is a very well-known, overcrowded, under-resourced tourist trap. Now, why are we trying to argue here that a proper, clean conservation zoo in Japan is not no much better than this overcrowded tourist trap in Malaysia?
Okay, there are 2 limbs to that question. Let me address each limb. First, you said that the facilities in Tennoji Zoo is better. I dispute that. They are living in a concrete jungle. Those are not facilities. That is a metal prison. It is a concrete prison. So the facilities there are not better. They don't have experts. Even the mahouts are those supplied by Malaysia, and the food is not nutritious. The food is absolutely terrible. So the part about the facilities doesn't make sense. Now the second is that Kuala Ganda. So now we have a choice between Kuala Ganda and Tennoji Zoo. Now, I am not a fan of Kuala Ganda. Can Kuala Ganda be improved? Yes. Is Kuala Ganda underfunded? I'm not sure. It may be. And is it a tourist trap? Yes. There are too many tourists there. In fact, in my opinion, a sanctuary should not have tourists at all. But Kuala Ganda does have. So is Kuala Ganda perfect? It's not. I admit it. I concede it. But what do we have right now? We have Kuala Ganda versus Tennoji Zoo. And Tennoji Zoo is absolutely hell on earth. The 7 hells of Dante would not compare. It is that bad. So wouldn't it much better for them to live in Kuala Ganda, which is actually, at least, it is in a jungle. It is in a jungle where there is a mini forest there. There's a stream there. There's a river there. There is mud there, and there are a lot of other elephants there. And there's a lot of fresh food there. The difference between Tennoji Zoo and Kuala Ganda is extremely big. There's a huge difference. Even though I'm not a fan of Kuala Ganda, it is still a million times better than Tennoji Zoo.
Now,
of course, just a minute. Of course, ideally, I wouldn't want our elephants to go back to Kuala Ganda. Ideally, I would want them to go back to the wild. That is ideally. But I will settle for Kuala Ganda any day compared to Tennoji Zoo.
Alright, now, you have been saying multiple times that you want these animals to be brought back to Malaysia. But of course, flying 3 huge animals is going to cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of ringgit. Not to mention stress on these animals again. Now, how do you basically justify this cost? Who's going to pay for this? Are we going to be paying for this, the taxpayers? And if we are supposed to be paying for this, don't we have much more bigger bills, much more crucial bills for us to pay?
I'll break that down into 2 questions as well. So then, the first is the money issue. Now, the money issue is RM 368,000. Now, that is why I raised it. Who paid it in the first instance? Now, this is not a big issue because I believe that if this is the stumbling block, then us animal lovers in Malaysia, we will simply do a crowdfund to get the animals back. I am sure that we can raise 368,000 ringgit within 24 hours. I'm very confident of that. That is how upset Malaysians are. So money should not be a stumbling block for our elephants to be returned. That's the first question. The second is, you said that transporting them back from Tennoji Zoo to Malaysia would cause stress to the animals. Yes, I agree. Transportation does cause stress. But let's look at the alternative. They are right now in a concrete zoo, undergoing stress 24 hours a day. I would rather that they face another stress for a few hours while being transported. At least then they're back to Kuala Ganda, where all the stress will disappear and they can live out their life happily, peacefully, with plenty of fresh food, sunlight and water. Water is so important. You must have a river or stream.
Okay.
They spend a lot of time in the mud, they spend a lot of time in the water. They need it.
Okay.
So they are deprived of that in Japan.
Alright, so you have come up with media statements, you have went to MACC, and today you have went to police as well. If these authorities ignore your call for this task force, then what is going to be the next moves for all you activists?
Okay, let me break that down into two questions as well. Let me address MACC first, then let me address the police, and then let me address what will happen if they ignore. Now, in relation to MACC, Malaysians may know that 2 days ago we did go to MACC headquarters in Putrajaya, and we attempted to lodge a report because we believe that there are elements of corruption here, and we want the MACC to investigate. And we were accompanied, there were 8 of us who went, 2 lawyers, and there were 6 activists. Now all these activists are those who are closely involved in this matter, who they themselves have received documents, who they themselves have information that they are privy to, and all of them wanted to inform this information to the MACC officers. Now what happened was that MACC said only 2 people can go in, and the rest can't. So despite pleading with MACC, despite asking for permission, MACC said no, only 2 people can go in. Now this is completely unacceptable. How are they supposed to get information? How are they supposed to investigate a matter when they limit it to 2 people, when 8 people have information? So if 8 people have information, are you telling me that MACC headquarters in Putrajaya cannot accommodate 8 people? Don't you have a meeting room where you can accommodate 8 people and get information from these 8 people? But no, they never bothered to do so. Instead, what did they do? They kicked us out. They literally kicked out 2 lawyers and 6 citizens of the country who wanted to give information pursuant to lodge a report. So this is pathetic, this is unacceptable, this is shameful. Shame on you, MACC. Shame on you. Shame on you for not allowing Malaysians to come in and lodge a report. This is tyranny of the highest order. And this tyranny should be reflected on you, Anwar Ibrahim. You have to ask for an apology to all Malaysians for allowing your MACC to do this to the Malaysians. You especially you were a victim of all of this. You went to prison, and look at how you are running the country now. Even animals are being sacrificed. Even animals are suffering because of you, not just the people. This cannot be a healthy state of affairs. Something needs to happen here. Now that is the MACC. Now the second will be the police. Now as I stated before, the reason we went to the police is because we want a special task force to be formed. We want the special task force to investigate what has been going on due to the higher level of authorities that are involved. Now the third, the interesting thing that I'm going to have difficulty answering, Suthan, is what happens if they ignore us? Now we must bear in mind that it's not only PEKA that is raising this issue. It is a lot of activists have been making noise. In fact, I was informed that someone is running from Taiping to Parliament. Everyone is making noise. And it is very important that the authorities take this seriously. And if you ignore us, which you seem to be doing right now, then we will escalate further. Activists are going to go to Parliament. Activists are going to make more noise on social media. And every time activists make noise, it makes the government look so bad. And I am confident that this is going to end up as an election issue in Johor and Negeri Sembilan. And that is what the current government is going to face. That is the amount of anger that the voters now have against the current government. That you have actually taken away our 3 treasures. Our 3 children have been taken away and sent to Japan. And you are here, coming here with a straight face and asking us to vote for you. You can't even take care of your own elephants. You think you can take care of us, is it? That is what they are going to face in the coming elections.
But to be fair to the minister, to Prime Minister Anwar, to the government as well, international treaties, international contract which is signed for 25 years can't simply just be torn just because you ask for it. Isn't it unfair to expect the government or the zoos to wave a magic wand and says this can be undone tomorrow or overnight?
If this was an international treaty, then I would be on the same page as you. Is it an international treaty? the government, the federal minister has come out and stated that this is a business-to-business deal between two zoos.
A private affair, you mean?
This is a private affair. If it is a private affair involving state treasure, which are the 3 elephants, then the issue of bilateral ties will not be a sticking point.
Okay.
The bilateral ties or the diplomatic ties between Malaysia and Japan will not be affected just because there is a breach of contract or because the contract is cancelled between two zoos. So therefore, these 3 elephants can be returned to Malaysia without there being a diplomatic incident. All that we need is for the minister, Atakurup, and the Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, to actually sit down, call their counterpart on the other side, and get things in order and bring the elephants back. I sincerely believe that if the Malaysian government wanted to bring the elephants back, they can do it very easily. It is all a matter of will, whether they want to do it or not.
Okay, so our audience are watching this episode, of course. How can our audience or the general public help to basically raise awareness on this issue?
Now, for the general audience, the man on the street who is upset about these 3 elephants being taken away from our shores, remember that we have social media. You have your keyboard in front of you. You have your handphone in your hands. Write, comment, and apply pressure. Apply pressure on your elected candidate. Apply pressure on social media against all these people. Write comments. Okay, you have to start applying pressure on the authorities, because that is what the authorities respond to. They respond to pressure. They respond to public pressure. If you don't apply public pressure, they're not going to respond. And if the authorities realize that this is a serious issue, that the voters are getting upset, then immediately the elephants will come back. But until and unless there's sufficient pressure, it is going to be difficult to get the elephants back.
So, thank you, Mr. Rajesh. I think you gave very good information on the status of these 3 elephants. And it looks like the fight for Dara, Amoi and Kelat is not just about 3 elephants. It's actually a direct test on Malaysia's integrity and our commitment to protecting our heritage. Our khazana, as you call it, right? Thank you for giving us the input, the legal advice. And thank you as well to a lot of activists like you who are basically constantly speaking about these issues. If we do not speak up, we wouldn't have known. And to the general audience as well, if you guys have any ideas or inputs or comments, please do share in the comment box below. We'd like to hear from you. If you have any way of giving inputs or ideas, please share. So with that, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.